So you want to move to Austin, Texas? Don't. I'm kidding. I'm here to give actually good advice today. And yes, I did get a green screen, and yes, I will be using it relentlessly, so please play along. For some context, my name is Marnie. I moved to Austin, Texas, November 2020 from San Francisco Bay Area, California. Before that, I spent 5 years in college in Chico, which is way up in Northern California. Do we feel ready? Do I feel qualified? I've lived here for over a year and a half now. I have the Texas plates on my car. I have the Texas driver's license. Feels like I'm a resident of the state, you know? The first thing you need to know about Austin is that it is hot. And this is true about Texas in general. This is something I didn't realize. Austin, Texas is further south than San Diego. This is a subtropical climate, but no ocean to relax by. Like I said, I moved here in November. November, you think fall, pumpkin spice lattes, flannels, perhaps a sweater. Tell me why the average temperature in Austin, Texas in November is like 75 degrees. And that's not accounting for the humidity, because it's not the heat that gets you, it's the humidity. Nothing can truly prepare you for a Texas summer unless you are used to a humid climate. Being from San Francisco Bay Area, we get a marine layer. It is slightly chilly in the morning and in the evenings. Even in the dead of summer, you get a cool breeze at night. Once Texas hits May, there is not a cool breeze in sight. It just is sweaty. You just are sweaty all the time. I take 2 to 3 showers a day. That is how I cope. Invest in flowy clothes, invest in breathable clothes, and ladies, and just when you thought you might enjoy living in the 7th ring of Satan's asshole, the winter arrives. Granted, it doesn't arrive until December, and then it just freezes over. They keep saying that that's not a typical Texas winter. Why has it happened the 2 winters I've been here? Yes, one was worse than the other. The power went out for like a week, and people died in their homes, and it was 9 degrees in Texas, this far south. It's fucking cold. Austin, Texas is expensive. That's what everyone will tell you. Oh my god, Austin's so expensive. Blah 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 blah. I'm sorry, but I come from the San Francisco Bay Area, okay? Do you know what the average rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in the San Francisco Bay Area is? Not even in San Francisco, which is like an actual city. Even in the suburbs, okay? It's minimum $2,000 a month for a shitty, dilapidated 1-bedroom apartment, okay? They have $2,000 to $3,000 expensive, beautiful, high-rise, downtown luxury apartments in Austin. And that's great if you somehow make enough money to afford that. And by all means, go for it. But also, you can find a far more reasonable $1,200, $1,500 price range for an apartment, which while still expensive compared to, I don't know, the like national average, probably, I'm not gonna look it up. It's doable, not on minimum wage, but it's doable. And that's if you wanna live closer to downtown. If you're willing to live a little bit further away, you can find more space for the same price, or a shittier, further away, $800 apartment, which is what I have. Okay, my rent is under $900 and I'm only 15 minutes away from downtown. Now, do I live in a safe neighborhood? No. But like, I can afford my rent. So which is it? Which do you want? I do think it would probably be annoying though if they were like, hey, your rent has been this for 4 years, so now it's gonna be $500 more than that. That I could see getting obnoxious. But as a person who just moved here 2 years ago, I can afford the rent here, and I don't make a lot of money. I make probably less than a regular amount of money, and I'm doing fine. Also, on a note that is important to me and perhaps nobody else, you can find a $3 beer in Texas, and you can find me drinking them like 2 or 3 nights a week because it's so cool to be like, hey, let's go get a beer, and then you only spend like $6 to $12 because it's $3 each, and then you can tip your bartender well because that's important to do. And you can't really find a $3 beer in other cities. There's something unbeatable about being able to get a $3 beer. The cocktails at those fancy cocktail bars, they're all $16 to $25. If you like PBR or Lone Star, you can find it for $3 to $4, and that is fine by me. Approved. $3 beers. The people in Austin, Texas have a major case of Peter Pan syndrome. They don't want to grow up. I don't know if this is a result of the pandemic stealing 2-ish years of a lot of people's lives, or if this is what the modern 20-something is, but people largely attribute this to men not being ready to grow up. But I think that it applies to all genders here in this lovely little city, because let's be honest, this city doesn't necessarily like really want you to have like settle down and have kids, because you can't buy a house, which is a lot of people's like first step into starting a family. So of course, when you can get the $3 beers, you're gonna go do that like all the time, right? The people are in search of hedonistic pleasures, okay? We're thinking short term, we're thinking what's fun now. Homelessness is a very touchy and nuanced topic that the local government has not done a wonderful job at figuring out. But I am not a politician, and I don't really know what the solution is. But I am a resident of this city where this is a thing. It is noticeable. And I'm gonna be honest with you, and we're gonna discuss it, okay? Okay. I'm from the Bay Area, and I spent a lot of time in San Francisco, so seeing homeless people, like, is not that crazy to me. And even the college town that I lived in was the highest population of homeless people per capita after the wildfire in 2018. The Northern California homeless that I encountered, they were kind of just there. No one ever really bothered you or tried to talk to you, and the panhandling was a little bit less aggressive. My first week in Texas, I was driving with the windows down, and a panhandler just, I wasn't paying attention, I was listening to music, he just reached into my car, like from the passenger side. And I was like, what are you doing sticking your arm in my car? And that was a little surprising to me. And there have been times where I'm driving home at 3 in the morning because I'll be out doing stuff and comedies and then friggin' my boyfriend's house till 3 in the morning. I was stopped at a red light and a guy pressed his face against the glass and was like, I don't have anywhere to stay, do you have any money? And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't. And then he screamed at me and banged on my window until the light turned green and I could drive away. I also had a lady show me her vagina last week. It was daylight. It was literally like this. Like we're walking down the street and I look over and she just pulled it out. Last weekend I was working an event downtown and I was on the phone just kind of walking, and in the corner of my eye from back here a guy swings to punch me and I had to quickly step out of the way to avoid getting hit. I have not instigated any of these events. I have just been out in the world walking or driving, and that is when these things happen. No one's broken into my car, no one's broken into my home. Fingers crossed on both of those. It's not the coolest, it's a little scary. I will say this, they are largely concentrated. There's an area on 6th and 7th Street downtown between Congress and I-35, and there's at least one shelter there might be 2, and so you see a lot of people there. That's where most of the flashing and things like that have happened. As a whole, you just are kind of aware of it. It's just something you need to recognize and know about. And if you're a woman walking alone, buy a gun or pepper spray or something of that sort. And lastly, Austin is totally cool and totally beautiful, and I absolutely get why you would want to move here. Like, this is a dope city with a ton of really cool things going on. I mean, I moved here, I get it. It's a growing city full of young people, just moved here in the last 2 years. There's a ton of cool things to do all the time if you know where to look. There's a ton of nature, especially if you're willing to drive like an hour to 2 hours outside of the city. There's even more nature. There are tons of job opportunities, and I get it. It's a sick place to live. You can afford it on a pretty reasonable salary. There's tons of cool people here. There's tons of cool things to do. Joe Rogan is opening up a comedy club. Like, Tesla is here now. Like, there are so many cool fucking things to do and so many cool things that it kind of feels like, oh, like we're all a part of this. And I fucking get it, okay? I get it. I get why you want to move here, and I won't hate on you for it because I also moved here. So there. I hope that this video has been helpful to you. This video is largely geared toward my fellow 20-somethings. I do not have a family. I am not looking to raise a family anytime soon. I have no clue what it would be like to try to have children here in this city and send them to school. I have no idea. Oh, lastly, women's reproductive rights. We don't have any. So just always have a couple hundred extra extra dollars tucked away just in case. You can buy the abortion pill online. It's about $200. You can get it even if you're not currently pregnant, just in case. And like, if you keep it stored in a cool, dry place, it should last for a really long time. And that is my plan. That, or just go back to California for like a week or two. And that's just me being honest. Because it looks like Roe v. Wade's gonna get overturned, and it looks like there's not much we can do about it. And is it a little bit scary? Yes. Am I privileged to know that I would have that extra bit of money to be able to solve that problem? Yeah. Everyone pretend I didn't say any of that. Thanks y'all so much for watching. I'll see you again later this week with another gosh darn video in my gosh darn life, because I live this cute little Texas country lifestyle where I'm a little Texas country girl and I go paddleboarding on the silly little lake and I do the country things. And I'm an Austin, Texas girly, and I'm wearing a shirt with cowboys on it, and you guys wouldn't get it cause I'm a country girl. Cowboys don't cry until they do.